Yamato Adismama Emamunyana ha Ebraso say TETE MMOFRA online TV KASI3BO ensa kene wiabre no inu na opoku agyeman mede nsem no ene ne nkyeremu nyina ebremo na nsem no de ebedi mu akotene bi ne se omampani John Dama ni Mahama atonanum tuom se samija mfi enfomso a ebae no wogina apachewa man na emom wonhwe na wanye saade no ebio anye saade a edi eni ena ebeto no Make a say the oswafo hwe apomde so ate ho se efiri kine kro wona wawie doctor school no obehya na wafa bi nti obia oye Ghana ni ba bia mo ano se akwanya no toma onso betimi de ho agimu aponjifo wa santo antem abo amane se wa chikromfo wiromfo bi a wa hade shepa be se fiensia ni wo dua no adanse wo kra no afa na enso nyame adom modi munti wachisa abrante na yedi munchirimu ebebremo sanso ena wode ato omampani John Dama ni Mahama anim se wo momodana na mamu yade ahye ne nsa no wamfa ni agro kra ozompani agina sare ena de sa afutue aba afi yebekọ santase eho ana adwadifo a idwa yesiama wo mo acha ndisi de ma na akyere se sembanimfo anti omsufra anwia ene kwa bia so omeyi wo kwatere kwa ede ane namonte so gu Ghana fo ma emanimu ase saa nsem ne nkyiremu na mede bremo ansa na no ye cheye ni so ede akyere Odifo Samuel Prayer and Counseling Center ye ka Odifo Samuel Prayer and Counseling Center na eye bia ba akopa kriya mu ene wokumasia ahembobo ano eye traffic light na se hɔ ape ene wo ejaba jewelry house ejaba family house ho ena wo na Odifo se nkancho se bia na yakontuo mu nsem adwuma mu nsem from sem fe na ha wa ware de anasa brabum dadwunu bia eda so a uyi ano a enye no na ade ba ho a osum na etu twa na unya kwa bobra ene ya frɛ no 0245 479724 0245 479724 ena 0506157020 midindi no na opoku agyeman mama memra na fe nsam no menkyeremu Omampani John Dama ni Mahama de ato Ghana fo nyine nim se obesre abrante samija mfi enfomso a okoye no na otwe wie ye okumasia se wone osofo konfo agrada ihyiaye na wono de na dwempam onim se o cheni sika no wanhwempo se na ya America de yibi na fi maami obi chewade firi nipem oyi nipem de ni wie ya na wade aka wahwim onim se ye nsohwe se ye bo apaye senso eye asem ena aba no ni nyina mu abrane samija mfi ba monten so bepa Ghana fo chew nanso ensem no bepie na so eye no ono anso hunu se ewo so echew penum ni sa ni tode to Ghana fo nyina em se wo mo ano wo ma yemfa we emo abrante samija mfi a ono ena gold board sisi baby a Ghana e gold nyina ebefa ebetoto no oda no onfa enche no na emum wabono kokose saade ne de sunni so be yi sika pa him ne montin so sei sem de ya adoye na de onsu ho kwa na emum kwa befa so abeye no na enko wie bone no eno ho asem ena woka ode fa ne kasamafo philosophy su kwa so ena ode adwatoi abrega na fo
you would recall that in the immediate aftermath of the emergence of the video, Mr. Samijinfi promptly issued an apology in which he expressed regret over the matter and took on board public concerns raised overseas. A day after that, the Chief of Staff summoned him to the presidency to learn about what transpired. The invitation was honored by Mr. Samijinfi. He indicated to the Chief of Staff what his side of the story is, what explanation there is for what we all saw in the video. At the time, President Mahama was out of the country, so he had to be briefed on the discussions held with Mr. Samiji Mfi by the Chief of Staff, and he has been briefed. Now, the view is that to begin with, the presidency acknowledges Mr. Samiji Mfi's immediate act of contrition and the acknowledgement of the need to express regrets over that incident. So that apology has been taken on board. You do recall that when President Obama launched the Code of Conduct, he said that one of the remedies for any potential breach was a public apology. He also said one of the potential remedies was a caution from the highest levels of government. After the interaction with the Chief of Staff, the Chief of Staff cautioned him, having acknowledged the apology he made. He cautioned him and impressed upon him to take on board public sentiment and act in ways that reflect public expectation. The Chief of Staff also took the opportunity to reissue the same caution that the President had sent to all appointees to be circumspect in their conduct. There may be things that may be commonplace in our private lives, but once you become a public official, you need to be sensitive to public expectation, and therefore that ought to guide the way that you order your steps. So in view of that, presidency does not believe that any further action ought to be taken beyond the apology and the caution. And we all take a cue from it and are going to do better in order to meet the expectations of the Ghanaian public. We value...
Oswafo hapum den so ura kwa reminta akano ono krona na saye mrashebedwani o dwabo so wo atoemantemu na ura yi ekira se de Ghanafo a wakogye enwumasua se obeye doctor adwuma nanso owie ye bibinti enya mfa wo no atadwe na wate ura yi ekira efiri okina efiada yi kure obie nkrata atum abefo kwaso ema obia wo yese bia o padwuma de faso na hihye onema hodo nyina na fabra sebe ya wonso wona wo fa wono wonyi emfirimu oswafo yi ekira na sedwadie eyenhihya wode ba sebe ya Ghanafo otifie waya doctor fo no kase onyadwuma nya ni nyina ebeto ebetwa ura kware ntaka no ekira na ebraso se abano nhihye pa wo se obema emabuno adwuma aye no aso no nti ena ono ne fam ade obie atum saa no wokira ekinan obie tuma ebetuma de akosi adwada edi yanimi ne sa ne nti no sa manfo hye ne nso na wonyina wode won ho dwum na ekutwamu a wanka se me de yimefirimu na Ghana ha no akodane amanyosem mama yenti Dr. Kwabreminta Akano.
KASI3BO Teaching Hospital is our premier referral center. It is dear to the heart of every Ghanaian. As we have all seen, it is not in the best of shapes. So today, I decided to pay a working visit here to have first-hand information as to what is going on. I've received a lot of complaints from the public, so I decided to come and see for myself and then have some meetings with the management, and we all think through how we can solve the problem. That's the most important thing. The solution is the most important thing. But I'm happy to also add that some of these issues have already been identified and steps have been taken already. For example, if you could recall my visit here to inspect some of the lifts when I was a ranking member, immediately I became the minister. The then acting CEO rushed to me and said, Mr. Minister, I don't want you to come to KASI3BO without fixing this thing. So I gave approval for the fixed, the lift to be fixed. And I've asked about the update. I'm told it's in the process and very soon that will be fixed. So among other things, probably that may not be for the consumption of the public, but what's important is that to have the first-hand information, and then together we all think through it. We are going to develop new KPIs, new policy directions And
afi yeko edwadie mu ade di pefe se na nsen di onyame adom Ghana cedi no na ho oden no ejina banka kra wenum nyina ejina se edwadifo eyire won ho di dwaye na odi Ghana mra so a ya na dollar na ho oden no ekofom a na cedi de no so ekosoro kakra ejina so ama sisi kra de bi no mo ekane se ewo se aban no hye adwadifo na wotete niema so fi se dodo na ekasa se niema bo ayeden dodo ewo meimu na ena osoafo no hwe adwadie so onunyamfo Elizabeth ofusu ejare ede atudwa se no kresa de nenso ya dwadie emeremu no abani ntimi hye dwadifo se chinchina monte niema no so obra wona won hia madwadifo ya to anum tu se wo dwene ho aye nhihya obepekwa apa bi so a se ewo so watete niema so a obete so ena ama adwadifo nkabom kuom empanimfo abamonten so se etore bia na nkasem we no nkeyitia wakora so ombetie nanso value added tax eye aban tax on to niema so no eno de na mse gina hwa ne ntino ekoba se bibi se ba kora na safa no so etwe wo ma ema wogina so na wote ade bia so a enyeye eno ena bra Dr. Oben Joseph Echiremu no Mama Elizabeth ofusu ejare esa to asoa no akase wenum nyina nti ena wajaisa nhye no amadwadifo na one wadika ate ho akere ne se enche kora ebia obeye eniema boa aye den no ne nteteso no ehu bibi moma yinti osoafo yi
of a stabilized city. The meeting has been very fruitful. It has been frank. We have stated that government does not have the power to control prices, but government has the power to negotiate with our stakeholders to ensure that traders, manufacturers, and consumers take advantage of an opportunity when it happens. I'm happy to inform you that the direct importers have agreed to reduce their prices, and some have already started that already. We've also heard from GUTA and AGI that it is good that the cedi has stabilized. They need a bit of time to let this reflect in their prices. It will happen gradually. The direct importers have started reducing their prices for the retailers, and this will be total when the old stock comes down. They are able to find an average from the new stock and the old stock, and prices will certainly go down. But this will be total in about 60 days. We hope that the cedi will keep doing well. We hope that all the indicators will even improve, and they are happy to let the general public and consumers take a benefit of the stabilized economy. Government has created an enabling environment for their businesses to thrive, and it is fair that they transfer part of the dividends to the customers, because we are all working together as a country so that the cost of living will reduce. I am happy that they have explained their bit to me and my team. We also explained ours to them, and this is the consensus. I think it is positive. Dialogue is the way to go in this kind of economic environment that we find ourselves. Government will continue to engage the private sector more to help them solve more of their issues, so that the general public and the consumers will benefit. They've also appreciated the role the government has played in this space, and they pray that government will continue to do more so that the cedi will be more stabilized. This will be very consistent. The cedi will be stabilized for a long time, which I believe.
Mama Elizabeth ofusu ejare eno so afọ hwe edwedi so na ete nken. Aposifo wo asantemantem ate ho se wache kromfotechi amobi a wa hade hye wo cream papa na wachira na enipa bi na edi ne ntente ebo aposifo a ma wonsa aka no ewo denchemo so a eno ewo kumase he ya kwara so empotemu wachira branch wodi mfie aduasam yenu na samrane nkofo de bono ne baby last na baby last ni dini pa na wofo so ede to no ene Michael Usu ansa o ese nipa oba wiase no na dwene se abonfo semu a no obedie nam krono boso nti wo bia ne nyina no wo bi sika no ku bi no ne ade a wodwene ho a wonte ase enna posifo kyera na wonsaka no ba wonma so na che nanso ntenta wodi ni nyina wode ne fa ha no ahura kosia wugina ha no no so yeso wono wokro no wadasa bo akra no nanso enam odwuma pa woye na wasi wonbo se obetu abonefo sem ase wasantemantam henti no ene wadi ne ntenta a wakwache no wode nchemo so hotel bi mu moma yenti DSP Gordon Ahianwa okasama posifo wo asantemantam.
The Police Intelligence Directorate in the Ashanti region have also made some breakthrough in the fight against armed robbery in the Denchamoso area. Following a series of robbery incidents in the area, on the 22nd April 2025, operatives from the PID department, acting on credible intelligence, apprehended one Michael Owusu and son, alias Baby Last, aged 32. If you recall, Baby Last had been on the police wanted list since 2016, that is 2016, when Commissioner retired Mr. Kofubuachi was here with us. We declared him wanted. Hamas announced that he has been arrested in connection with this very robbery. He was also connected with the robbery and murder of one police corporal, Frank Issel of the SWAT unit, which occurred at the Open Space Hotel in the Chemoso on the 19th May 2016. 3 armed men, Mal Issa 26, Sharif Mohammed 20, and Abdul Jalani 19, attacked and robbed 2 residents in the Kenyasi area. The suspect, operating in 3 separate motorbikes, forcibly took the victims' mobile phones and attempted to flee the scene. Thanks to the swift action by the Kenyasi police patrol team, the suspects were apprehended shortly after the incident. During the pursuit, suspect Sharif Mohammed sustained gunshot wound to the right rib, while the other 2 also suffered various injuries. All 3 suspects are currently receiving medical treatment under strict police guard at the Confanochi.
Ghana Gold Board Abrantie Samija Mfida no wone bambofo akabum na tuonho gumonten so asantentem ne apue mantem a wokyera wachi nipa be nsia wonyina ya hoho ene wabo memu a wodi nwabone na otu efomagudie basa na ebinom nso mpo no woto gold no wobra wonfa emrakwa so wokyera na ebra wochi wono na akade ahodo nso a ebi ya tubna afi gold yi sede ya wobobo ne ntoantoa ebinom kekeka won ne niam ahodo bebre ena wokochi ni pehwe won ho no wo hu se ewo won ho wokyera na saade we etia mra se oye hoho no abetene kurum ha sidwa na abedi a na nhyehyɛ wo ho nanso se ofa kwambone so se ubebu oman no emra so de a na watia oman no mra na obu oman no so animtia kura sanse bi nyina betu odwa ebra Ghana Gold Board Abrantie Prince Menka okasa edema wo no ne nsenjofo ehyiae na wacheche sa nsem nyina mu ne kwa fa so a wodi wontente na wonya won eche won.
Arrest occurred before the 30th of April. I remember at that time it was not the deadline, so the arrest occurred before the deadline. Because of that, they've been allowed to go back to their country of origin and reunite with their family. But for the latest bust which has occurred, for them, they will face the full rigors of the law. Just like the initial one or the first batch, they were caught flouting our laws, and with them, the arrest and what we got to know were, some, gold counting machines and some dollars as well, cash also with them as well. And these things have been confiscated, and they are going to be made to face the full rigors of the law. As I've said on some of your platforms, if you're a foreigner and you are caught trading within the local gold trading industry, which is now the sole reserve of the gold board, you will be made to face the law. So with this one, unlike the first batch, who have been given a grace or a pat on the back whilst warning them, they will be made to go back to their home country. But for the second batch, they will be made to go walk the mile, and in fact, they'll face the full rigors of the law. So, like we did with the initial one, they'll go to court, and then when the judgment is passed, what will follow? Will follow. So this is a warning to every foreigner in Ghana. The rules are simple. Local gold trading industry is the sole reserve of the gold board. If you're a foreigner and you want to trade, you want to offtake gold, the silver line.
As of penny, Ajanasare etu omampeni John Dramani Mahama for say, Enimunyama Ghana for Asheno, Atua Bamanoa, Ibinsi Dakurano, Warren one to Tunase. As of penny echra, na Ghana for any GDO mu any NDC abano, and what to Abama Bakuse Muno, Onomampenia, Wedia dia, watching the one and pre and Mukurach, Nibia Mahon, be in Sida. Ebrekrona nso mna sebedwafo a wowafa ye NDC for no so wanya me na boroswa mpasem bia na wo ka mutimi de monsasi mbo na moka ni ye eno no so hwe homa ne ye fese nyame ahye nanimunyam na hye nanimunyam hye no anya ne fe na afei ukugya ne megum saa na mna sebedwafo e be ye hye ye dosu nti ye de patapa tutuasem ene ne ye pe ne ye be ye de tia Ghana fo ene amamuo no de a ene wonka hunu se onyame odi tumi no ma no ono krona no de ebufuo ensonso ebeba ndi wo hwe no huye na amamuo na obuo no omenani nna ho no mumenye fe na mpo de ne binom adi huru no se onkoa no mampani Ghana ha oba ya ka otwa mfie na epe ya pamwo so onya mfie ne ya soso mana be yemienu di a also onu so onyame ne di niye nti omenani nso.
If you have 2/3 of parliament, it means that you can do anything at all you want. So what Ghanaians were telling him was, we have given you our lives. What you want to do, we don't want you to have obstacles. Any law you want to pass, we want you to be able to pass it. But there are two things. When you have that kind of power, it can either get into your head, because it is said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Or it can make you sober to see that these people have given me their lives. Let me do everything to protect them and to lift them up. And I'll reiterate that to him, that he shouldn't take what we did this last election.
Emrasebedwania owo sotium enkran. Wode atudwa se uhwemu pa se de abaya so ye economic and organized crime office yoku awoye isumu enhwehwemu no se de adane amanyosemo anesa wo kira na obia wo mbeche no yesi yakwacha amanyoni we obia so ebeja no yesi amanyosem ti na yeja no wo se ekobasa na wonjuma odie no enimonyam nim emma Ghana fo ne se ani nti omonhwe na omonsesa wonjumadie eni edini a nkofo de abata won honum mrasebedwani ekira na yedi adanse pefe se aban bia wobeba no asem bia fe ne nipa ho no no wa ne nkokwa asasa hwem yesi yoku antimi anka se emu odene ensonso se ebetwitwa age nipa no a eno nsonso yesi afre no awama adanse ni honum ne ade wasi kuyisi dia na ne yoku tumi no ayede ama wom no omonhwe ne yie pa na ankoye chinchina amanyosem se de amanfo ehuno muma yenko mrasebedwani a wo enya so otuomi Dr. Admaku Kisi nchen na yentie nsem no se de na ono a echirem.
In other jurisdictions, one, the body that handles these investigations, like the FBI, are not too political, and they are consistent over the years. So if the federal guys are after you, it's not NDC MPP. And I think that is another aspect that we need to look at.
If this were to have been an IOCO prosecution or an OSP prosecution, would you have said same?
Unfortunately, IOCO now has been tainted and unfortunately, they need to rebrand themselves as a non-political entity. And I think that when they do that, invariably, a lot of us will be more comfortable when we hear that Yoko is, examining something, and you not see the case go to court because the appropriate checks and balances that even the person accusing has to do has been done. It shouldn't be the case that any of us can be just accused and reputation damaged, by virtue of the fact that somebody failed to do their homework. Listen, some of my colleagues have been called into even Iyoko, only for them to realize that Iyoko, the people were clueless and they were calling the wrong people about, quote unquote, the crime. And this is the problem I have, that we need to have one very skilled professional people who then can accept the fact that, listen, to do a sea defense contract, this is on the market. The amount of monies that are needed for feasibility, and for that matter, if somebody has quoted 1 million or 100 million for feasibility, the money is big, but for that project, which is maybe $1 billion project, $2 million
chicken change
is, in relative terms.
Yeah.
So I beg to differ with the Attorney General, and I think that some of these things do not necessarily need a court hearing, but rather the Attorney General's office need people who are equipped, very knowledgeable in that aspect. And Attorney General,
before my work, Kumasi Santase, Essential Swaba Tompesuase, Omo Ede at the Sir and I told Penfu Cream say Omum na contract be a OC Umuja or share Omobosu baby and so Achabrosu Unye, or my edgeman, and yes, idea. Diabobem, watch that you are winning in a chino, or Bessan Swabo, what the ja, Eddie Chairman book creaming in said the Atu Omuni come up for. A beautiful each na Igano a check. I feel crowd the contract and I see be a wing a crack and Ometian say, was I see a Toma one? Yes, shake Gana Siano, no among can honor a boa, or no cry a Jewoma Umunya. And no, and was any sentino, ama Ombofua or Casa and Semno. Mama inti ohima nana ma fra oda adwadifo nano
Santa na so na ya samema so obebudwa no si samaye ye so de o se yo yo ko so ade fe de obi epe ti ye ko to nana monim nanam so maye kwan se o mudwa no mo be me ba bi atena na o mu se edwa no be si ni kama kan no mu de amaye so ye ti asema e maye ko sampa na so be bo fo mo budwa no na contact obi si dwa no share se 1.5 year louder na wa si bibia awie ni esaka ye dwa ya so ye ti asema ni budwa no ya hwani wa edwane ehunu so ya hwani ma edwane ehunu so ya kwa sampa wa yentehwe ya kwa sampa wa yentehwe na nanam so ya komo no so sampa ka se yentehwe ba na otwimi ansani na mete se ye ton empata no ye ton pata se me ma himo dwuma se mentehwe de na ye ton pata na me dwuma so tutu for my se no crest se committee teacher my friend Frank and ye ton pata no woni papa e friend no Mr. Bedu and ye ton pata no omo ton pata se nti enu ayi antenase ti e de koto na nanim ma na na frɛ committee chairman sɛ o mu si dwa no ebi abusu nti o mu ton na sɛ o ton dwa kwa ne sɛ ye ne ye de dwa no sɛ ye ga bi a abatufo nya bi ya de ya kan anu atum ti sɛ yes man ne sɛ ye nya bi a wo ma ko twetwe sɛ obi anagiri sika ɛsa ye nti asase sɛ ne asase ye ne de sɛ dwa no ɛna ko santa ɛne sampan be bu dwa no sɛ ye nya bi de ane dwa no ye gi asase no be any chaka. Committee no, any sa contractor no. First asking to ya Jedra, ya the Atman. Go Santa and I son and I am so Bebuja no see Samay. Yes, you see you because I did fed you be happy.
Mommy uncle or him and Semno, every so you miss Muyipa. Nana Yamohaba to my front light TV so we Nana Yamoho. Nana pom te saying, I am sure we are pansing be a titiana, I am yaka crying away, dear. What am I? Chirayani, ye tifum. Yanyan and Tiasa, Mose, contractor dwuma de share nensa oni ni yie se de mo hwe no achi ye ton e ba ne sen
madam e ba ne se contractor na refer Mr. Baby no ton source no e man ko fo abra ye na ye ga no bobe na me se ene bi e twemu na ko sansa na ya samle man ana de tie so de bukan e ya se na shi nte na mo be dia se so nanka o me te mai na today dida kan MP ana ide to me no so o ni do ye to be ga ni ya mai ana because I saw ya tane no be so ti eti it will be bukan I'm on it some point ko se ho ama akudu sankasa ni foni na ma ko se ni asa mo ni so mo ni na ni ti mai sia so the entrance no mo bukan na de se de de kroma eye so ye ti ni se o ma kan ya ye na no mi ti ma
sa
na sometimes ba be tu ye boga na ko tanta so ma ko te bosia o se ne lo mo tete so mo buga no mo fe si gani mai ne sia e ti ja sampa be tu ye meet mo tanta ti ko ai fu na ka ho be ye ye yi no ye meet na juna na se ga se be gwa ti no mu ye gani ama ye ne ma di e nya ka mo tetwa o ma ye straight we get she and it ne ma say again to ko e ka o die e do ma e ba e dia we ye no e na no mu ye gani e so ka se wa ne happy a o na ma ye
okay
ma di we di tanye ona ti ana fi wo be ye se ne se ye so mi obi di ka be di ba se so ya to no ye na ni wo the man who saw ya to say you have to so watch ma we be come so I'm so boy you can do and pata the man said that you need to watch ma you pa come here so go ya can see
okay
ana to ma focus on say any sir the man to ma can get on to me sir ana idea buy the buy one half year na so you wo hwe when to the you can call me ko na so me ba ko me no be years man Mr. That is contacted minister. So that comes from the bedroom at the bed. Minister can send this one too. That's what we know with kids. I think because they will be that. I get the wood here. One I don't see face. Who see face here? We are only at a meeting. So I can always see. We know what's happening. I want to send it so. We only have that and have a. And not to go for my. Let's go to the schedule to come out. I look for my car over and tell me I can't send anything. Then I want to make a mistake of examination. That's what I say. When they get the answer, put me to that. Let's go to the competition and find a fine. Any man always got to be that baby. No matter so, no matter told you. Say, grand billion. 3.5 billion.
Stop back. Yo, Nani, na wada mahewe na sesi a so man kan cham se kobase o mo ka cham se ne o mo jambi 3.5 billion no mu metuatua na monya wo ubenya o ma no o mbenya
me ba so me wu brother I know you are taking you move ya. La taka na kwa de sai. And what you need to be ka a wu training. So, I say if you want to get no chama na, one half continent, the great as one means. But then you know, you know for that
you.
Okay.
I
don't found what and I am coming my.
Aye. Yo nana wadama yanto asum free high akoba se omo eton munnim ho hwe no mo ene ade na makobo sasa mo hena mane ne nana santase minim se na na sasa mo hene wo pade fe papa wo pasom dwe so
na sasa mo hene wo free tanga ati ko na na wa ko kese ko na da no ya bona manye tanga wa ne ko nya no na ne ko da na tia
okay oh
Oju ba te ke ni ka ko bona na ama ko kese manye na ate ko na te ko ma ki chaman town source no I want to be a man for. Yes, if you want to get your TV, you need to be here.
Sir, in your be.
That's when I'm home. Now, when you are such a kind of more here, when you are such a chap, and what from I want to so ah, my friend, the teacher, my friend, or the do my thing, 1 year, actually, we not as well. Or say this, and sit on a funny man, you want to be yes, sir.
Okay.
So many are part and Anna, I'm a professional. You're so over or say 5 o'clock is your phone and I'm a professional. And you could see 5 o'clock when you read. When I had the born, I request say, so some more tongue.
Hey,
I then I'm not a day. And I walk off so far up over you. I can't remember movie. What time is the red say? You're walking down the say. If you have to almost tongue.
No, oh. Okay. Nana wadama yewe. Mwase mwidi ka emu hwam de mo ka na wagina so. Baabi a me no mo nya dwene papa ne se sebe ma mpanimfo se na bufu enti mo se mbobodua na mwasa abom ho adagya na mo nana no hunu se eda so tese wo monten so ha se enye fe o tinka mu jama na na ohwe ya eh Mama ni nyina metiase na mo se mo ye ti assembly man ne contract adambo ye kura na contract ni wa se ne nkofo ahwade e free na nkofo ahwade e free se contract e woni ho a obehu na oh yo mami na ayi mami keme fofura beda no sampai ko fofura beda no ono so mami amani dia akotone nim
ye be ma ba ko da akotone no so be pa
aha yo yo na nene ye besere munya botere mesere mo duabo no ne mo bo mo hada jande me ami ko todwegu fom mo ntwensen kakra na ye hwehwe de yewura azuba no so a wabe ye beka wai maame ye nya mo so ye bedi asem wo yachi ye beba ho ne ane mu nyina adwene o mo ko ne mba nyina na ye tiefo ne ahwefo so atibi se mo ti asem no yo nana erade nka ho wiabre yo nana mafra ena eye dwadifo ne hema wo santase ono ena yete nanu ase mabukutudwe misimesere wo ma ema mpanimfo wi na tisi de enye fabontre so enti omunya botre ni duabo no so omunyi mfiriminim se zuba omukoka kire na obeye ho bibi ne yabo ya homode senke nsabeka assembly man no a ma memo bo no ko adu no so ewo ahoma no so na yetie na no asem na so ya wo so na ono no de no emfa enti moma ye nyina ye ntiase na ye mfa kasebo ni si ho ewiabre nyame ado abre bi ebenya ne bia so mo betene nka ye ka mu bi o say you di for Samuel prayer and counseling center na dum ye ma kasebo ye de bre mo ewiabre ejawa family house wa hembobo ano traffic light na sia kumase ha ena wowo edwada no pano nsia kusi nomiensa nti dwada kusi fiada na no pano nsia kusi nomiensa ena wotena sie ahensem na do ani mu abra hunhum nsem hunhum aware titu bra afi obi buopu obi sisi obi ji wajapade ya usika bi shefo ma ye gold mu huna na abusua no momra monso utu gold ibi onkwa akwa mfuturo na wosa obra fom ho hyehye dabi eni sesa na eye bra no di for someone hwemu na akwa ano aboa ma so ayibi na wa hu se adwuma wo ye no emfa so abaso akontuo mu nsem eya kofi o wa nu so ye be ma kofi ena wo de kura kwaje visa udu ha ye so ya amenti ye mve ma ba ne sei ni nyina enye promise and fail eno so eka ho bi gina ho na me ba afefre no kura wo mfa awere ho papa edibra no hyo hyebre ma na ehunu wani mpote kura wo kro no 0245 479724 0245 479724 ena 050 6157020 esa egumfidie na se maka kire odada se eya bre no so se no anya ho mpo antia wadama unya ho a na wako social media hodo ni nyina so wense temafra KASI3BO no etwagu na wanya daje etie bi o wadwenkyire bi ana ade aba so bode bi so a na odi ama mene adwumayefo no ene afi adwumawura ejako make say ne ebo donko ne fa pepepe no asa betrem no di dwumadi a wo ho edawanim abrew edi atie hwe share like subscribe na yenyina yentumpon midindi no na opoku ajeman medama said masia chinyame ado a ebrekru se yaso yebehia